How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's cool.
I have a
You
question.
got plans and schedules behind you, I see.
Yeah, it's because I'm trying to do my first challenge in Denmark. So I had
Nice.
some do some lectures, on flip over in old-fashioned way. Yes.
Nice. I love it. All right. Fantastic.
Now my question is actually that how did you conquer the U.S. market? Because I think as I have seen how you are as a person now, that you are very much you are keeping your integrity high all the time. And sometimes I can see that if you want to conquer a market, that people have a tendency to forget their integrity. And
Ah,
I'm one of those who would like to keep my integrity also when I conquer new markets. So my question to you is, how did you
yes.
actually try to go into the US market, actually conquer that without losing your integrity?
I'm happy to talk about that. I'm curious about why that connection. Like, what is it that you're seeing? What is your thoughts or your belief system around that loss of integrity in order to conquer a new market?
Yeah, but sometimes, it's probably just some of the observations throughout this period we have been through that you can see that if you try to speak a lot about, all the people's pains and try to talk to the money side and a little bit too much dreaming, and people are trying to promise people too much, without actually living up to it. And,
Got it.
and I'm one of those who actually would try to say that every evening, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I've actually been faithful to the integrity I would like to keep. So that's also
Yeah.
and how to actually get out there without, using a lot of money to get that message out in another
Right.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely, I'm 100% fan of integrity and sleeping well at night. And I mean, it was one of the things early on for me that I got into the online marketing world, online course world back in 2008, and then found that there are a ton of people back then who didn't have integrity, right? They would make promises that they had zero intention ever of keeping, and they would just like count on everybody forgetting the promises that they'd made by the time things rolled around, and so that was never my cup of tea. It just never sat right with me. I'll tell you what I specifically did to start breaking into the U.S. market. I joined Marie Forleo's B School. She was one of the few marketers at the time who stood out to me as actually having integrity. I was a little bummed when I saw that she was hanging out with some of those folks that I felt like didn't, but I still liked her a lot. And so I bought her course, and part of that was a community, a Facebook group. This is back in 2012 or thereabouts. So there was a Facebook group with like 10,000, or maybe it was like 6,000 people at the time who'd all bought her course called B School. It's like $2,000 program that she launches once a year. It's still in business. And then I just hang out in that Facebook group and answer people's questions. So when they're asking questions about like what software should I use, or website, or how do I set this up or that up, or email list, or blah, 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 all that stuff, I just answer. I would just answer. And then I would be like, hey, by the way, I created this thing called Simplero. Here's, like, I love B Schoolers. So I have, if you want to try it, here's a code to get the first 3 months for free. And that's how I got my first customers in the US. And then it just spread through word of mouth from there. So that was specifically what I did. I think it's still, then like stupidly, I kind of stopped doing that at some point. But, yeah, I think, finding a group like that and just providing value, right? Just showing up and connecting and providing value, super powerful. I've actually started doing that a lot more on social media and Twitter, and just Twitter especially I really enjoy. So it's a great platform. Don't think of it so much as getting followers and pushing content and that kind of stuff. Think of it as networking, right? That it's a great platform to meet people, meet interesting people. There's this company that I'm fascinated with called Copy AI, and they're doing all their hiring and on Twitter, right? By just being there and interacting with people. And then they find like great, interesting engineers and marketers, other people. And I'm like, that's super smart. So yeah, that's what I would look that way. And just like, if you show up from a place of wanting to serve and just being honest with what you can do for people, but also like we know from ourselves when we buy stuff that then we, especially when it's some kind of involves personal work. What do you sell? What is your thing?
I'm actually in the consultancy business, but I'm
So
I'm in this, what do you call it, performance. I'm ex-army guy and went to the civilian market after I've been in missions. And actually, then I thought that you can actually lever the performance if you took the human part into it, because I think people have forgot the human part in actually how much you can gain if you focus on the human efforts and actually make it as simple as possible. So that's what I'm trying to do, getting against all that kind of you call it hot air, and
nice.
cut the crap. So that's my point. What I'm trying.
Yeah, just talk about that, man. Like, I mean, everybody wants it. Keep in mind, like, we have to give people what they want, right? So we all want some things, and then you and I know that what they really need is something else. But like, give them what they want and demonstrate, what you can offer by giving them those results in advance. I love this format, right? Like, it allows me to just go help people for free. It becomes content that we can go share, and it just adds value to people. It's a way to build brand, build that relationship with people at scale.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Søren. Appreciate it.
What up, YouTube? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, even if you freaking didn't, hit the subscribe button so you get more videos from me, and also hit the bell button so you get tick, 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 notified whenever there is a new video from me. Thank you very much. I'll catch you next time.